The grand ballroom shimmered under crystal chandeliers, and a sea of candlelight and champagne toasts marked Elena and Marcus's 25th anniversary. But beneath the glamour, a storm brewed. Marcus, the self-made tycoon, smugly declared his desire for a younger woman, demanding Elena vacate their penthouse by dawn, oblivious that it was her inheritance. His mother, Beatrice, beamed with approval, convinced her son had asserted dominance. Yet Elena, with poised fury, seized the microphone. Ideal timing, as I am liquidating my penthouse tomorrow, the one you have freeloaded in for 25 years, and embracing a partner who grasps true devotion. The crowd hushed as Marcus's arrogance shattered, and Beatrice's grin evaporated. The penthouse buzzed with 250 guests, silk gowns swirling amid orchestral melodies. Elena's ivory dress hugged her figure, the sapphire necklace Marcus gifted that morning, weighing like an omen, engraved to my eternal flame. Their daughter Sophia, in sapphire silk, praised her parents' enduring bond at the podium. She declared they embody partnership, sacrifice, and daily choices, evoking applause. Elena clasped Marcus's hand, his touch familiar after decades. Their son Ethan followed, lauding Marcus's integrity. Dad taught me respect, honor, and keeping promises. Elena's heart swelled, 25 years, resilient through trials. As dances commenced, Elena mingled, her sister Clara whispering unease. But Marcus pulled her center stage for a toast, glasses raised, expecting vows of eternal love. Instead, his words sliced. 25 years suffice. I crave youth. Vacate the penthouse tomorrow. Elena's flute shattered, blood mingling with spilled bubbly from a cut palm. Gasps erupted. Beatrice smirked triumphantly, the woman Elena nursed through radiation, whose secrets she guarded. A young blonde Lila rose from the shadows, wearing Elena's heirloom bracelet, stolen months prior. Ethan's guilt-stricken face revealed his complicity. Sophia collapsed in hyperventilation, vomiting revelations. I caught them in my suite 3 months ago. Paramedics rushed in as Elena cradled Sophia. Seizing the mic, she unleashed. This penthouse? My late father's gift, rent-free for your empire-building charade while I juggled shifts. To Beatrice, I sacrificed my surgical internship for your care, bedpans, chemo vigils, and you smirk. Lila stammered. He claimed you perished in a crash 5 years back. Chaos peaked as Clara exposed Marcus's 18-month plotting, Elena's final barb. You will die isolated, haunted by this ruin. Amid applause, she led her children out, the door sealing on Marcus's crumbling facade. The revelation hit like a thunderclap in the opulent room. Elena's mind raced back to the morning, when Marcus had presented the necklace with a kiss, whispering eternal promises. Now, those words echoed hollowly. Sophia's collapse replayed in slow motion, her daughter's emerald gown pooling on the marble as she gasped for air, clawing at her throat. "Breathe, baby," Elena had urged, her own voice cracking. The paramedics' arrival brought a flurry of activity, but Elena refused to let go until Sophia stabilized. Across the room, Marcus stood frozen, the microphone limp in his hand. His face, usually etched with the confidence of boardroom victories, now twisted in dawning horror. But Elena saw no remorse, only the shock of exposure. Beatrice's triumphant expression faltered as whispers turned to outrage. The woman Elena had treated like family, bathing her frail body during endless treatments, is now exposed as an enabler. How long had she known? Encouraged. Lila's presence added salt to the wound. Barely older than Ethan, she trembled, the bracelet glinting accusingly. "I did not know," she whispered, tears streaming. "He said you were gone." The room's eruption drowned her words. Guests murmured in disbelief, some pulling out phones to record the unfolding drama. Elena's palm throbbed, blood staining her dress, but the physical pain paled against the emotional evisceration. Ethan's confession cut deepest. "Mom, I knew. He made me promise it would protect you." Elena's world tilted. Her son, the one she raised with stories of integrity, had been weaponized against her. Sophia's sobs turned to hiccups as the truth sank in. The girl who idolized her father now saw him as a monster. Clara's voice rose above the din. "He begged me to convince you to spice things up, calling you boring. I warned you, but no one believed me. 18 months of scheming while Elena built their life, cared for Beatrice, and supported Marcus's ventures. The penthouse, her father's legacy, is now tainted. Elena's response built like a crescendo. You want passion? You murdered unconditional love. Our children bear this scar eternally. Every future partner will flee your shadow. Alone in your empire, you will grasp the devastation. Handing the mic away, she gathered Sophia and Ethan, their clothes smeared with her blood. The walk to the exit felt eternal, but with each step, applause swelled, a thunderous affirmation of her dignity. Outside, in the hallway's dim light, Elena allowed herself to shatter. Sinking against the wall, children pressed close. She wept for 25 years evaporated, for the illusion of forever now ash. The betrayal's depth unfurled. Not just infidelity, but a calculated dismantling of trust, family, and self-worth. As sirens faded and guests dispersed, whispers of the scandal spread. Marcus remained inside, alone with Beatrice in the silent ballroom. His empire's facade cracked irreparably. The night that began in celebration ended in ruin, setting the stage for years of reckoning. Elena's strength in that moment became legendary among friends. She had not crumbled, she had risen, microphone in hand, voice steady despite the storm within. The penthouse, symbol of her independence, would soon be sold, but the real estate was her soul's reclamation. In the days following, the viral video amplified her pain and power. Strangers messaged support, calling her a warrior. Yet privately, Elena grappled with the void. How had she missed the signs? The late nights, the missing jewelry, the distant touches. Sophia's trauma manifested in nightmares, Ethan's in rage. Beatrice's calls went unanswered, her pride unbroken even in complicity. Lila vanished into anonymity, another pawn in Marcus's game. But Elena's revelation that night shattered more than Marcus's pride. It ignited her rebirth. She would forge a new path from the ashes of betrayal, teaching her children that strength lies not in endurance but in confrontation and release. The ballroom's lights dimmed, but Elena's resolve burned brighter, a beacon through the darkness ahead. This was not the end, but the brutal beginning of survival. The penthouse had transformed into a mausoleum of shattered illusions. Elena stood in the kitchen, gripping a mug of coffee that tasted like ashes, her eyes fixed on the empty chair where Marcus had sat just yesterday. The morning light filtered through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows mocking their once-held warmth. Sophia had not emerged from her suite in 3 days, the door locked against the world that had betrayed her. Ethan sprawled on the couch, his tall frame curled in defeat, unable to face his own bedroom where walls had witnessed his silence. The air hung heavy with unspoken grief, each breath a reminder of the night that had unraveled everything. Elena's phone buzzed incessantly, a barrage of notifications from friends, family, and strangers alike. The video of the anniversary debacle went viral overnight and was shared across social media with hashtags like Betrayal Ballroom and Empire Falls. Comments flooded in, dissecting her marriage with cruel precision. Maybe she let herself go, one read. Men stray when home is not exciting. Elena deleted the app in a fit of rage, slamming her phone against the granite counter until the screen cracked. The shards scattered like her fragmented life, but she felt nothing beyond a dull ache. Clara arrived unannounced, using her spare key, arms laden with groceries no one would eat. She looked at her sister's hollow eyes and enveloped her in a fierce embrace. "I should have pushed harder," Clara murmured. "When he approached me 18 months ago, whining about your lack of adventure, I tried to warn you. Everyone dismissed me as jealous." Elena pulled back, her voice a whisper. "I chose the lie because it was easier, because he was so convincing." Clara's eyes darkened. "He is a lifelong deceiver." The words lingered as Clara pulled a thick folder from her bag. "I hired a private investigator after the party. Read this." The documents painted a damning portrait. Marcus had a history of predation, 3 previous wives stripped of their assets through similar schemes. Joint accounts drained, properties transferred via forged signatures, lives left in ruins. Temperance, his first wife, divorced after he vanished with her inheritance. Jessamine, the second, was left penniless. Another unnamed victim followed the pattern. How many more? Elena whispered, her knees buckling. She collapsed into a chair, the weight of realization crushing her. I was not special, just another target. Sophia's door creaked open, the girl emerging like a ghost, her once vibrant features gaunt and gray. I cannot eat, she said, her voice trembling. Every bite brings back the images in my suite and bed. Elena opened her arms and Sophia fell into them, sobbing. We will replace everything, Elena promised. New furniture, paint, a fresh start. But Sophia shook her head. It is etched in my mind, no scrub can erase it. Ethan stirred from the living room, his eyes red-rimmed. It is my fault, I should have told you. Elena's tone sharpened. You were manipulated. He turned you into an unwilling ally. That burden is his, not yours. But Ethan backed away, guilt gnawing at him like a relentless tide. A knock echoed through the penthouse, freezing them all. Elena peered through the peephole, her blood turning cold. Lila stood there, arms wrapped around herself, looking fragile and lost. What do you want? Elena asked, opening the door with a sliver. Lila's voice broke. I am sorry. I swear I did not know. He lied to me too. Elena hesitated, then stepped aside. Lila entered, pulling a worn wooden box from her bag. He gave me this and said it was precious. Inside were letters, dozens of them. Elena's vision blurred as she read. The words were eerily familiar. Promises of stars and destiny, souls intertwined. They are copies, Lila whispered, identical to what you posted on your old engagement blog. Elena felt nausea rise. She had cherished those letters as unique treasures, now revealed as recycled bait. Lila continued, her voice shaking. I am a barista, working nights for college tuition. He frequented my cafe, charmed me with stories of loneliness, and said his wife died in a tragic accident 5 years ago. Made me feel like his savior. Clara interjected softly. You are his victim too. Lila turned to Sophia, who stared with empty eyes. I was in your space, your sanctuary. I will carry that shame forever. Sophia opened her mouth, then closed it. Did he mention us, his children? Lila swayed. He said you were adults, estranged, barely in contact. Sophia's voice cracked. I am 16. Ethan is 19. We were here all along. Lila collapsed onto the couch, Elena steadying her. He is a predator, Clara said. Preys on the vulnerable, destroys them systematically. Lila whispered, I thought he loved me. So did I, Elena replied. They sat in stunned silence, women bound by one man's deceit. As Lila left, she paused. I will testify if needed, for divorce, custody, anything. Expose his lies. Elena nodded. Thank you. For what it is worth, he spoke of you often, called you brilliant, the best he knew. Part of him loved you. Elena's response was soft. That makes it worse. If love existed, yet he chose this, then love means nothing. Brody vanished into the bathroom, the sound of retching, followed by fists pounding the wall. Elena rushed in, finding him over the sink, knuckles bloodied. He kept a journal, Ethan gasped. I found it while grabbing documents for college. One page detailed your aging, his need to upgrade, and how the penthouse would be his via the deed's dual names. Elena pulled him close. He planned for years, made you his shield. That night, Elena awoke to scrubbing sounds from Sophia's room. Her daughter knelt, bleaching the floor, hands raw and bleeding. I must clean it, Sophia sobbed. The stain remains. Elena gently took the brush. It is not on the floor, baby. It is in your mind. We will seek help, real help. What if it never fades? Sophia whispered. Then we carry it together. Elena's phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. This is Temperance. Lila shared your contact information. We must talk about the finances. Elena called immediately. Temperance's voice was weathered. He stole from me too. Check the deed meticulously. He forges expertly. By the time my divorce ended, I had nothing. The next morning, Elena retrieved the deed. Her father's clauses were ironclad, her name was sole, and transfers required witnessed consent. Yet, attached was a recent document, her signature forged, the loops imperfect. Rage surged. She phoned the attorney for an emergency meeting. Bring fraud evidence. As she waited, Elena surveyed the penthouse, photos mocking happier times. A life on lies, foundation crumbling unseen. Marcus called, she answered, needing his voice for closure. Elena, he pleaded, broken, terrible mistake. You forged my name, planned for years. That is no mistake, that is you. Silence. How did you know? Because I am no longer the naive woman you wed. You killed her that night. She hung up, blocked him, and vowed to survive. Not as a victim, but a warrior. Her children watched, learning even from ashes that one can rise. The fraud's exposure would be her first strike back, unraveling his empire thread by thread. Legal wheels turned swiftly. The attorney confirmed forgery, advising prosecution. Fraud is provable, he said. With witnesses like Temperance and Lila, we build an airtight case. Elena nodded. Let it be ugly. He thrives on that. Meanwhile, Beatrice's obituary appeared, a stroke claiming her alone. Marcus's voicemails piled, deleted, unheard. Elena focused on healing and scheduling therapy for all. Sophia's sessions began, and Ethan joined support groups at shelters. Clara stayed close, weaving cultural tales from their Nigerian heritage. The pot breaks, but men stronger, she reminded. The penthouse sale loomed, and proceeds funded their fresh start. Elena discovered Beatrice's complicit letters in old files, urging Marcus to upgrade. Another layer of betrayal, fueling her resolve. Through it all, Elena's strength grew. The echoes of deception faded not. But she learned to navigate them, teaching her children resilience's true face. Survival was not passive, it was a deliberate act of defiance. 3 months crawled by like wounded beasts, each day bleeding into the next without mercy or distinction. Sophia had become a shadow of her former self, her body skeletal from rejecting anything solid. She stood before her bedroom mirror, the new furniture and fresh paint doing little to erase the ghosts that lingered. Her therapist instructed her to reclaim her space and practice smiling as a step toward rebuilding power. But power felt like a foreign concept, a word from a language she no longer spoke. She forced her lips to curve upward, but the reflection stared back hollow, haunted by the day she returned from school, feverish and seeking rest, only to find her father entangled with Lila in her bed. The sounds replayed endlessly in her mind, the afternoon light slanting through the curtains, the sheets twisted in betrayal. Her father's expression when he noticed her was not shame but irritation, as if she had intruded on something sacred. Sophia's stomach rebelled at the memory, rejecting even the thought of food. Elena begged each morning to eat, offering toast or fruit, just one bite. I cannot, Sophia replied, her throat closing at the mere sight. Her collarbones protruded sharply, clothes hanging loose like shrouds on a frame, wasting away. Ethan fared no better. His university classes were abandoned as despair took hold. The administration called repeatedly before giving up. He spent days on the couch, staring into voids, his knuckles bandaged and reopening daily from self-inflicted wounds. Yesterday, at dawn, Elena found him in the bathroom, fist poised to shatter the mirror. "What are you doing?" she demanded, catching his arm. "I look like him," Ethan whispered, voice empty. His eyes, his build, every reflection shows the destroyer. "You are nothing like him," Elena insisted. But Ethan shook his head. "I kept his secret. That makes me complicit, just like him." His rage spilled outward, manifesting in fights. Last week, at a corner store, he witnessed a man berating his partner and snapped, slamming the offender against a wall. "You treat her like garbage? You are him," Ethan screamed. Security intervened, and charges followed. Now a court date loomed, his therapist diagnosing PTSD and maladaptive coping. Elena held the fragments together, working double shifts at the hospital, where she had finally completed her residency, returning home to children fading before her eyes. Her own frame had thinned, face etched with sorrow. Clara visited on weekends, bringing uneaten meals and sitting in the thickening silence. "You need professional help," she urged Elena. "You cannot prop everyone up while sinking." "I am fine," Elena lied. But Clara pressed. "None of you is." "The alternative is collapse," Elena countered. "I am the pillar." Yet, inwardly threads unraveled. Marcus's calls came from blocked numbers, voicemails stacking like toxins. "I am sorry, it was not meant this way. I still love you." Elena deleted them mid-sentence, but nights brought doubts. Was he suffering? Did he comprehend the wreckage? The lawyer's office gleamed with cold efficiency, glass walls reflecting her determination. Octavia, sharp-eyed and silver-haired, reviewed the forged documents. She confirmed that he had done this before. I represented 2 victims. Pattern: marry wealth, secure access, demolish, and seize. Prosecute? Fraud proves tricky if skilled, but he is. We freeze assets via emergency injunction. He touches nothing until the divorce is finalized. Months, perhaps years if contested, Octavia warned. "Let him contest," Elena replied. "I stand firm," Octavia's grim smile. "Men like him fight dirty." That night, Elena returned to find Sophia's door ajar, the room dark. Flipping the switch, her heart seized. Sophia lay motionless on the floor, an empty pill bottle scattered with orange capsules like fallen stars. "No!" Elena screamed, dropping to check pulse, dialing emergency while shaking Ethan awake. Sophia's heartbeat thready, breaths shallow, lips tinged blue. "Stay with me," Elena pleaded as sirens wailed. The ambulance ride blurred, Ethan clutching his sister's hand, face ashen. "This is my doing," he muttered. "I failed her." "She lives," Elena snapped, though doubt gnawed. The hospital's sterile chaos engulfed them, machines beeping as they pumped Sophia's stomach and administered charcoal. The doctor, kind-eyed and graying, pulled Elena aside. "Stable now, but an hour later, a different story. This was serious intent. She needs intensive psych care." Elena knew, had watched Sophia erode daily, sunlight fading from a once bright girl. When Sophia woke, tears streamed. "I am sorry." The images would not stop. Every blink brings them back. Elena climbed into the bed, holding her tight. "We find a way. Therapy, meds, anything. But you stay. If you leave, I follow." "I do not know how to endure," Sophia whispered. Elena said one breath at a time, just the next, then another. Ethan huddled in the corner, body quaking. Elena saw guilt devouring him, undeserved yet unrelenting. Her phone vibrated. "Beatrice. Important. Please talk." Blocked. Another number. "Dying. Amend wrongs." Elena should revel in justice, but exhaustion prevailed. A nurse mentioned a grandmother waiting. Ethan hardened. Number. She smiled at our ruin, knew, perhaps planned. She gets no absolution. Days blurred. Sophia was discharged to an outpatient program, 3 hours of daily therapy, groups, meds, and art, where she painted devouring shadows. Ethan's court yielded community service over jail, and the judge noted his clean record and trauma evaluation. "Get help, son. Pain excuses nothing." Ethan nodded, but soon fought again, a catcaller targeted, ending with a broken jaw from unfair odds. Beside his hospital bed, Elena snapped. "Enough. This ends." What he did was evil, calculated, unforgivable. But letting it consume us hands him victory. We rebuild, refuse erasure. How? Sophia asked, voice small. By surviving, choosing each other over his shadow. Elena grasped their hands. "I lack answers, but we learn together." A week later, Beatrice's obituary confirmed a stroke, alone. Marcus called. "Mother gone. Her last words tell them sorry." "She escaped lightly," Elena said. "Your enabler, smiling at our demolition. No forgiveness for deathbed regrets." "Please, you need," Elena laughed bitterly. "Your daughter nearly died from your trauma. Your son punches walls, vomits guilt you imposed. Serial destroyer of families, hope guilt consumes you eternally." She hung up, turning to her children with awe in their eyes. "That is fighting," she said, refusing his pain as ours and surviving without him. Broken, scarred, they breathed on. Survival is its own triumph. Cultural roots anchored Elena, Nigerian proverbs from her father. The tree bends but does not break. She wove them into talks, reminding them of the strength of her heritage. Octavia updated, assets frozen, divorce filings advanced, fraud probe deepening with Temperance's testimony. Sophia's art evolved, darkness yielding light glimpses. Ethan's shelter service exposed ordinary evil, making Marcus less unique and more banal. Rage tempered into purpose. Marcus's attempts persisted. Doorstep plea rebuffed. Ethan answered, "Leave. I want to explain. Nothing explains years of purpose. You have consequences now. Live them." Sophia from the hallway. "You are the man who defiled my space. Nothing to me." The door slammed on his tears. Elena watched, pride swelling. Her children, forged in fire, are emerging resilient. Foundations fractured, but rebuilding commenced. Brick by painful brick. The psychiatric ward carried the sterile scent of disinfectant, mingled with underlying despair, a place where survival meant distinguishing between merely breathing and genuinely wanting to live. Sophia learned this distinction painfully, day by day, as she navigated the fog of her trauma. Group therapy sessions gathered 7 souls who had all attempted to escape existence. A middle-aged man who stepped before a train, a young woman who drove into a river, a teen boy whose closet beam snapped under his weight. They traded stories like battle scars, measuring whose wounds ran deepest. When her turn came, Sophia's words lodged in her throat. How could she articulate that her father's betrayal extended beyond her mother, stripping her innocence and turning her private haven into a site of violation? "My father used my suite," she finally murmured, voice barely audible. "At the same time, I was at school with my mistress, right where I slept." The room fell silent, her pain standing apart even in this haven of shared suffering. With her salt and pepper hair and eyes weary from witnessing countless storms, Dr. Harlan leaned forward. "You walked in unexpectedly, sick with fever," Sophia continued. "I wanted rest, heard noises, opened the door, and there they were. Frozen, I stood until he saw me. I was not ashamed, just annoyed, like I had interrupted." Dr. Harlan nodded. "That was months before the public humiliation. I convinced myself it was a hallucination, that fathers do not do such things." Tears flowed as she admitted the gaslighting she inflicted on herself to preserve the illusion of safety. In individual therapy, Dr. Harlan employed exposure techniques, drawing from cognitive behavioral therapy to confront the memories head-on. "We must drain the infection," she explained. "Avoiding them only empowers them." Described the scene in detail. Sophia recounted the twisted sheets, the slant of light, the unfamiliar perfume, her father's arched back, Lila's flushed face turning to horror. She vomited twice, and Dr. Harlan provided a basin without judgment. "Your body expels the poison," she said. "Let it flow." Nights in the ward were symphonies of anguish, and other patients were weeping or bargaining with indifferent deities. Sophia understood now why oblivion tempted so many, why death seemed merciful compared to unrelenting pain. Her phone rang one evening. Ethan, his voice muffled from his wired jaw. "How are you? Alive? You?" "Same." Silence stretched, heavy with unsaid burdens. "I am sorry," he said. "This is my fault. I should have protected you." "Stop," Sophia replied. "You were manipulated too. His court-mandated service at the domestic violence shelter weighs on me. Feel like an imposter, the abuser posing as a helper." "You are both victim and survivor," she said. "That complexity is our reality." More quiet. "Got in another fight. Saw a man harass a woman, and I lost control." "Ethan, that helps no one. I know. The therapist calls it projection, saving others because I failed mom." Sophia said her vanishing act was a reverse attempt to erase the unerasable. "We are wrecked," she whispered. "Chaos. Will we ever normalize?" Normal vanished. We forge a new existence, scarred but viable. "I doubt I want existence." "Then endure for me, for mom. Without you, we shatter. You are our anchor, always." But Sophia felt like splintered glass held by fragile tension. Discharged after observation, Elena waited with fresh clothes and a tentative smile. The drive home passed wordlessly. The penthouse felt altered, brighter from Elena's rearrangements. But Sophia sensed the embedded betrayal in every corner. "I contacted a realtor," Elena said. "We can relocate, start anew. You cherish this place. I love you more." Guilt surged in Sophia. Another precious thing her father tainted, her mother's link to her late father, who had shielded against such men. Mail piled on the counter. Amid bills, a thick envelope from Lila. "Dear Sophia," it began, "I lack the right to address you, but I was also deceived, not seeking pardon, just truth. I aid destruction unwittingly." Sophia read the pages, handwriting trembling. At the close, "You deserved better. In therapy now, studying predatory tactics, vowing to alert women to two perfect men." Sophia tucked it away, emotions conflicted. That night, dreams shifted, her father translucent, fading ghost, while she stood solid, enduring. She woke gasping but silent, a small victory. Weeks unfolded. She resumed school, repeating a semester, notes mechanical amid gossip. That is the girl whose dad. She walked tall, dignity her reprisal, as Elena taught. Ethan returned from service shaken. Stories of abuse mirror ours, yet are ordinary. Evil is commonplace. Elena nodded, hospital shifts revealing similar hidden violences. Marcus appeared at the door. Ethan confronted him. "Leave now. Just talk, nothing to explain. You wrecked us deliberately. Police if needed." Sophia interjected coldly, "Lost all rights. You are the intruder in my sanctuary." "Nothing to me." She turned, his sobs echoing as the door shut. Sophia's journal, gifted by Dr. Harlan, was filled with dreams, school trials, Lila's letter, and the indifference to her father's tears. Is numbness healing or another death? She pondered but persisted, breathing deliberately, as promised. Cultural echoes from Elena's Nigerian lineage bolstered her. One proverb resonated: "The river flows, wearing stone smooth." Time and persistence erode even deepest scars. Sophia clung to it during sessions, incorporating mindfulness from therapy to ground herself. Legal updates arrived. Octavia's team built the fraud case, subpoenas were issued, and Marcus's business partners distanced themselves amid the scandal. Temperance offered affidavits, her story mirroring Elena's. Lila agreed to depose, exposing manipulations. The net tightened, promising accountability. Sophia's art therapy yielded breakthroughs, paintings evolving from voids to emerging light. A session explored EMDR, eye movement processing trauma, and reducing image intensity. Progress is incremental but tangible. She shared with Ethan over the phone that his shelter insights reveal male vulnerability too, balancing her view. Not all men are monsters. Some are victims of cycles. Home evenings brought family rituals, and Clara shared ancestral tales. The broken calabash mends, holding water anew. Sophia smiled faintly, mending underway. Marcus's shadow loomed, but she learned to step around it, sanctuary slowly reclaiming. One afternoon, browsing old photos, Sophia found a pre-betrayal snapshot. Family laughing, unscarred. Tears fell, but resolve followed. She would not let him steal her future. Therapy homework, list strengths. Resilient, empathetic, survivor, words empowered. As months edged toward resolution, Sophia ventured social steps, a coffee with a classmate. Trust is tentative but possible. The violated sanctuary healed not fully, but enough to inhabit. Her journey taught violation wounds deepest when internal. Healing begins within. With Elena and Ethan's support, she forged onward, fractured foundations stabilizing into something enduring. Marcus wandered through Beatrice's vacant estate, the walls lined with photographs of a family now despising him. He confronted his reflection without filters for the first time, seeing a monster staring back. The funeral had been a solitary ordeal, his siblings standing across the casket like sentinels, refusing eye contact or words. He existed as a specter at his own mother's burial, the weight of isolation crushing. The house echoed with ghosts of joy. Dinners Elena prepared during Beatrice's chemo battles, holidays where Sophia and Ethan unwrapped gifts under her watchful gaze. The night Beatrice clutched his hand, whispering, "I am grateful you found Elena. She is our family's salvation." Yet Marcus had demolished it all. Boxes of mementos yielded more accusations. Wedding photos showed Elena radiant, believing his vows. Ethan, as a newborn in his arms, tiny and trusting. Sophia's first birthday. Cake smeared across faces in laughter. He had lived these moments, felt genuine love, yet chose destruction. Why? The question circled relentlessly. What void drove him to wound those who cherished him most? Sophia's childhood diary surfaced, pages adorned with hearts. Daddy is my hero, the kindest man alive. I want to marry someone just like him. Marcus retched into a bin, heaving until empty. He had twisted her adoration into trauma so profound she sought death. Ethan's college essay praised his integrity. Dad showed honor matters over ease, love as action. Papers scattered like indictments. He had manipulated that reverence, forging Ethan into a betrayer. A hotline call came, Elena's concern prompting it despite everything. Mr. Foley, your ex-wife worries that you pose a risk. Even shattered, she safeguarded him. The irony broke him further. I do not know, he admitted. Maybe. Paramedics arrived with a counselor, assessing for hours before referring Solace, a specialist in abusive partners. You confront not for pity, but truth, the counselor warned. The labor will be grueling. Solace's first session was eviscerated. Why call? I destroyed my family. Wrong. Why truly? To fix it. Unfixable. Try again. Because I am monstrous and ignorant, I don't know how I became so. Progress. She dismantled excuses, and there was no midlife crisis or insanity. Calculated choices over the years, manipulation, forgery, son's complicity, daughter's sanctuary defiled. These define you. Group therapy humiliated, surrounded by men who were physically battered. He felt superior until the facilitator pierced. You think no fists absolves? Emotional terrorism scars deeper, wounds invisible but eternal. Stories mirrored his, entitlement warping love into control, children as pawns. Recognition dawned, horrifying. Assignments followed, letters to victims, unsent, to grasp the scope of damage. To Sophia, I slaughtered your childhood, turned heaven to horror, taught love as a predator's guise. No apology suffices. To Ethan, I weaponized your loyalty, poisoned your mirror with my sickness. To Elena, I revealed 20 years as a facade, stole your worth, forged to seize your legacy. Dozens more to Lila, a manipulated tool, Beatrice, a poisoner of cruelty, and prior wives like Victoria, each stripped delusions, forcing accountability without justification. Solace reviewed, now volunteer at shelters, face your echoes. The converted church shelter loomed, stained glass casting judgmental hues. Women eyed him warily, predators recognized. He spoke little, focusing on tasks, maintenance, meals, and cleaning, but he listened to tales. Arms broken over dinners, isolation via tract phones, 20-year facades crumbling to infidelity. One resident was Victoria, his first wife. Recognition paled her. What are you doing here? Therapy mandates. She laughed bitterly. Sessions erased nothing. I know, no fixing. Then why? To comprehend my rot, prevent its spread, tense silence. I watch. I will end you, if there is any ploy for Elena or the kids. Deserved. Weeks blurred. He sold assets, downsized to a studio, worked menial jobs, and donated the excess to survivor funds. Not a redemption purchase, but a minimal good. He spoke at high schools, where counselors warned about tough crowds. Good. Facing teens, I publicly shamed my wife, accused my son, and drove my daughter to the brink of suicide. No sympathy sought. Avoid my path. A girl queried, knowing the hurt, why persist? Self-love trumped theirs. Entitlement deemed them obstacles. Can change happen? People evolve. If genuine or performance, ask in 5 years. Videos posted raw confessions and warnings. Comments savage. Deserve eternal torment. Scum. He concurred, leaving them visible. Punishment. Known as the beast he was. One evening, Clara entered the shelter. Froze. You here? Volunteering for months. She observed, eyes narrowed. I monitor. Heard anyone? Consequences. Watch. All should. She saw him counsel young men weekly. Love equals needs, not above or below. Break a lot of fights, taking a punch without retaliation. Walk away, choose better. Do not emulate me. On his birthday, alone in the standard room, no fanfare, Clara approached after a year. You differ. Trying. Erases nothing. No. Why truly, if I stop one man from becoming me, my life will hold one positive. That suffices. She nodded. No forgiveness, no trust. But a possible change was acknowledged. Means you spare future victims. Marcus absorbed this, a fissure in darkness. Routine persisted. Work, therapy, group, volunteering, speeches. 40 now, graying, line from insomnia and guilt. Kellen, now Lila, arrived as an intake counselor. I counsel to spot manipulation pre-destruction. Good, vital. Because of you, I became your weapon. Sorry for exploiting. Stop, no apology needed. Continue warning, that atones. She departed, her pain transmuted to protection. Perhaps redemption lay not in absolution, but in ceasing new harm. Letters continued unsent, updating milestones. Sophia's psychology studies, Ethan's engagement, Elena's residency completion, and a kind partner. Pride was forbidden, and he hoped they thrived despite him. Legal shadows loomed. Octavia's probe advanced, subpoenas served. Victoria testified to patterns, Lila's deceptions. Probation loomed if convicted. Marcus resisted not, accepting justice. Therapy incorporated mindfulness, DBT for emotional regulation, and addressing the roots of entitlement. Though distant from Elena's Nigerian heritage, cultural reflections prompted self-examination. Proverbs like the unbroken chain links past to future, urging breakage of destructive cycles. Alone nights, he pondered humanity, capable of monstrosity and reform. Guilt eternal, but carried without drowning. Change, not erasure, but evolution into a less harmful form. For those he wrecked, perhaps enough. 5 years had worn Marcus down like relentless sand against stone, each day a slow erosion that left him unrecognizable from the tycoon who had orchestrated his family's downfall in that glittering ballroom. He scarcely slept, managing 3 or 4 hours before nightmares jolted him awake. Visions of Sophia's pale face as she swallowed pills, Ethan's broken voice declaring, "I am just like you." Elena's eyes widening in realization that 2 decades were illusions. The studio apartment he now inhabited was cramped, with barely room for a bed and desk, and devoid of decorations or comforts he no longer felt entitled to claim. He labored at 3 jobs, hospital janitor by day, grocery stocker at night, weekend maintenance at the shelter. Every dollar beyond bare necessities is funneled into organizations aiding abuse survivors. Solace reminded him in sessions, "This buys no redemption. No sum erases your actions." "I know," he replied. "It is the least I can do not to worsen the world." Group meetings are convened every Tuesday for 5 years without absence. He knew the men's narratives intimately, varied paths to destruction rooted in shared entitlement. A newcomer, mid-30s, offered excuses. "She provoked me. What choice did I have?" Marcus interjected, "Your choice was not to shatter her. That was your sole duty." "Easy words," the man retorted. Marcus detailed, "I humiliated my wife publicly, enlisted my son in her betrayal, and traumatized my daughter to the brink of suicide. Ease does not exist here, only truth. We chose harm, we own it eternally." Post-session, an elder member approached. "How long sober from hurt?" 5 years, but not sober, merely abstaining from new poison. "My victims still ache from old wounds." That permanence is the cruelest part. At high schools where he spoke quarterly, a boy lingered after. "My dad mirrors you, cheated, swore me to secrecy. It is killing me." Marcus's chest constricted. "Tell a counselor or a trusted adult. Secrets are venom, but revealing wrecks our family. The secret already does. You shield him from the repercussions he merits." The boy wept. Marcus yearned to console but refrained. Rights forfeited. "Go now, disclose all. This burden is not yours." His videos formed an archive and were shared on relationships in support groups and classrooms, created for confession, not acclaim. Comments from varied souls echoed, "This is my ex," verbatim. "Thanks for validating my sanity." He read each, absorbing that his evil was commonplace, thousands replicating it. Temperance, now Victoria at the shelter, forged a wary alliance. Not friendship, but understanding from shared scars. She noted one evening, "You aided a newcomer today who was scared to eat. Soup was left with a note, so there was no pressure. That exceeds duties. The job is upkeep, aid optional." She scrutinized, "You differ from the man I wed." Attempting to. Attempt differs from achievement. Aware, but it is my sole tool. Keep attempting. Some days suffice. Clara persisted in vigilance, witnessing counsel to young fathers. Your child is no possession, partner, or servant. Love balances needs equally. She saw him intercept a parking altercation, absorbing a blow. Depart. Opt differently. Avoid my fate. His birthday passed unmarked in the standard room. Clara neared. Genuine transformation. Perhaps. Or superior concealment. I would detect. 5 years of observation. Why share? Someone must recognize that change is feasible, not simple, but viable. No implication Elena or the children owe re-entry. But you are not the destroyer anymore. I do not know if that signifies. It signifies to the next potential victim if I cease. Marcus replied. Clara nodded slowly. Forgives not, trusts not, but believes the effort sincere. More than merited, everything. Routine endured. Work, therapy, group, service, talks. Gray threaded his hair, face carved by grief and wakefulness, grasping humanity's essence. Lila entered as a counselor. Work here now. Intake, teaching manipulation recognition, pre-ruin. Essential, due to you, became your instrument. Hurt unknowns. Apology for utilization. Cease, apology unnecessary. Persist, alerting. That is reparation. She left. Young woman, pain alchemized to safeguard redemption, in halting fresh casualties, not pardon. Letters persisted unsent. To Sophia, heard psychology pursuit, trauma focus. Turning agony into others' healing. Wish pride, but rights revoked when I ravaged your youth. Hope thriving, beyond thriving, uncrushed by my burden. To Ethan, engagement news, happiness, self-pardon for unowed fault. Pray true, learned dissimilarity, bar subterranean, surpassing effortless. To Elena, trauma specialist now, fitting brilliance. Dating kindly, glad deserved tenderness. Hope he demonstrates authentic love. Hope my existence is forgotten. Sealed in boxes, hundreds spanning years, regret catalog unread by needy, for they required distance, healing sans his shadow ripping scars. He lingered away, labored, volunteered, and strove less damaging than prior. Breath by breath, choice by choice, day by day. 5 years purgatory, uncertain punishment, or humanity's dawn comprehension. Perhaps both, perhaps the essence. Legal hammer fell, Octavius case solidified, fraud proven via signatures and testimonies. Victoria detailed patterns, Lila lies. Courtroom tense, Marcus unopposing. Probation, restitution ordered. Empire remnants seized, fitting penance. Therapy integrated accountability, DBT curbing impulses, and mindfulness grounding. Cultural nods to Elena's heritage surfaced in reflections. Proverbs like the eagle soars post-storm inspired, though his path is solitary. Videos amassed views, brutal feedback embraced. One from a similar predator. Your words halted my repeat. Gratitude, tiny light in the abyss. Shelter evenings brought purpose. Counseling sessions evolved, with group sharing breakthroughs. Solace noted progress. Entitlement's grip loosens. Not cured, managed. High school feedback. Boy from earlier, told the counselor. Family chaos, but truth freed me. Marcus nodded. Truth always does. Clara confided over time. Elena dates steadily, and Daniel is kind. Children heal. Videos help them gauge your shift. He absorbed, no inquiry. Boundaries respected. Lila collaborated on workshops and predatory signs. Your story warns effectively. Use it. Alone, Marcus pondered letters, videos, and labor. Change not for return, but intrinsic. Harm minimized, sound amplified. Redemption not granted, constructed via persistent choices, arrival uncertain. Yet pursuit sufficed. 5 years forged him in purgatory's fire, emerging tempered, less monstrous. Not a saint, but a human striving amid irreparable harm. For victims, space to breathe. For him, vigil eternal. Enough, perhaps. 6. Purgatory's Forge. 5 years had carved Marcus into a hollowed shell. Each passing day a relentless grind stripped away the veneer of the tycoon who had engineered his family's collapse in that opulent ballroom. Sleep eluded him, limited to 3 or 4 fractured hours before nightmares invaded. Images of Sophia's ashen face amid scattered pills, Ethan's shattered whisper, "I am just like you," Elena's gaze fracturing as 25 years revealed themselves as deception. His studio apartment offered scant space for a bed and desk, barren of trappings that might imply deserved ease. He toiled at 3 menial roles: hospital custodian during daylight hours, nighttime stalker at a supermarket, weekend upkeep at the shelter. Surplus earnings are channeled directly to survivor support networks. Solace is emphasized in therapy. This purchase is no absolution. No amount undoes your deeds. Aware, he responded, "It merely ensures I cause less harm." Tuesday's group assembled without fail for over 5 years. He absorbed their chronicles, diverse routes to ruin unified by entitlement. A fresh participant in his 30s proffered defenses. She incited it. No alternative existed. Marcus countered, "Alternatives abounded. You opted for devastation. That choice was yours alone." "Simple for you," the man snapped. Marcus elaborated, "I shamed my wife before crowds, conscripted my son into treachery, and inflicted trauma on my daughter, pushing her toward oblivion. Simplicity evades us. Truth alone remains. We elected pain. We bear it forever." Afterward, a senior member inquired, "How long clean from inflicting damage?" 5 years, yet not clean, only refraining from fresh toxins. Prior victims endure lasting effects. In high school auditoriums, quarterly addresses drew tough audiences as counselors cautioned. Beneficial, before adolescents are poised for life. "I dismantled my family openly, manipulated my son against his mother, scarred my daughter to the death's threshold. Seek no compassion. Evade my trajectory." A girl probed, aware of the agony. Why continue? Self-adoration overshadowed theirs. Entitlement rendered them barriers to my desires. Transformation viable. Individuals adapt. Authentic or facade, inquire in 5 years. His videos compiled a confessional repository, circulated in recovery circles and educational settings, on bonds, and intended for admission, not recognition. Echoes from diverse voices. Identical to my former spouse. Gratitude for affirming my reality. He consumed each, confronting his malevolence's ubiquity, multitudes echoing it. Victoria persisted at the shelter, their rapport a cautious accord born of mutual history, not camaraderie, but insight from entwined pasts. She remarked one dusk, "I assisted a recent arrival today who was too frightened to eat meals." Vroth deposited it with a message, "There is no obligation. Surpasses responsibilities. Duties encompass repairs. Assistance elective." She examined him, altered by my husband, striving to be. Striving diverges from accomplishment. Cognizant, yet it constitutes my arsenal. Sustained striving, occasionally adequate. Clara maintained oversight, observing counsel to nascent parents. Offspring no chattel. Companion no subordinate. Affection equates requirements balanced. She observed him diffuse a lot of skirmishes, absorbing an intended strike. Withdraw. Select otherwise. Shun my example. His anniversary transpired unobserved in the communal area. Clara advanced post-year. Authentic metamorphosis. Conceivably, or enhanced dissimulation. Detection would occur. 5 years of scrutiny. Why disclose? Acknowledgement of the feasibility of alterations is warranted. Not effortless, viable. Implies no mandate for Elena or offspring to reintegrate. Yet you transcend the annihilator. Uncertain of import. Imports to subsequent casualty averted through cessation, Marcus stated. Clara inclined her head gradually. Absolves zilch. Trusts zilch. Yet the credits endeavor to be authentic. Exceeds entitlement. entirety. Regimen sustained. Labor, counseling, assembly, aid, discourses. Gray infiltrated his locks, visage furrowed from remorse and vigilance, comprehending humanity's core. Lila materialized as an admissions advisor. Operate here presently, intake, instructing deceit detection before annihilation. Crucial. Owing to you, transformed into your implement, harmed oblivious, regret for exploitation. Halt. Regret superfluous. Endure cautioning. That compensates. She exited. Youthful female, anguish transfigured to defense. Absolution conceivably in terminating novel sufferers, not clemency. Epistles endured undelivered. To Sophia. Learned psychology endeavor, distress emphasis. Converting torment into others' restoration. Desire commendation, yet privileges annulled upon demolishing your adolescence. Aspire prosperity, surpassing prosperity, unburdened by my onus. To Ethan, betrothal tidings, felicity, self-exoneration for unmerited culpability. Implore veracity, acquired disparity, threshold subterranean, exceeding uncomplicated. To Elena, distress expert presently, appropriate radiance, courting benevolence, pleased merited gentleness. Aspire, he illustrates genuine affection. Aspire, my presence obliterated, encased in containers, multitudes traversing years. Remorse inventory perused by none, necessitating, for they demanded separation, mending, absent his specter, lacerating cicatrices. He abode distant, toiled, contributed, aspired, diminished, and suffered less detriment than antecedent. Inhalation succeeding inhalation, selection following selection, dawn after dawn. 5 annuls inferno, ambiguous chastisement or humanity's inception grasp, conceivably dual, conceivably the crux. Judicial mallet descended, Octavius' argument was consolidated, and deception was validated through autographs and attestations. Victoria elaborated configurations, Lila fabrications. Tribunal strained, Marcus non-resistant. Supervision, recompense mandated. Dominion vestiges confiscated, apt retribution. Counseling amalgamated responsibility. DBT restraining urges, and awareness anchoring. Ancestral illusions, albeit remote from Elena's Nigerian lineage, incited introspection. Adages akin to the phoenix ascends from embers, though its trajectory is isolated. Recordings accumulated spectators, harsh critiques adopted. One from an analogous marauder. Your utterances arrested my recurrence. Appreciation, minuscule illumination in a chasm. Refuge dusks conveyed the objective. Guidance gatherings progressed. Collective distributing advancements. Solace observed evolution. Presumptuousness grasp relaxes. Not remedied, regulated. Secondary feedback. Lad from prior. Informed advisor. Kin turmoil, yet verity liberated me. Marcus assented. Verity invariably does. Clara entrusted gradually. Elena courts consistently, and Daniel is compassionate. Offspring recuperate. Recordings assisted them in assessing your alteration. He imbibed, no query, limits honored. Lila cooperated on seminars and predatory indicators. Your narrative alerts effectively. Employ it. Solitary eves, he contemplated epistles, recordings, and exertions. Alteration not for restitution, but innate. Injury curtailed, virtue augmented. Absolution not bestowed, erected via tenacious selections. Advent indefinite. Nonetheless, the quest is adequate. Sophia Edward was 21, having pieced herself together over 5 years into someone who could function despite the fissures running through her core. Lately, however, dreams of her father invaded her sleep, stirring a terror that forgiveness might equate to another betrayal. The university campus sprawled lush and vibrant, students chattering about classes and romances. A world that still felt distant to Sophia, observed through a pane of glass. Majoring in psychology with a focus on family trauma seemed inevitable. One either became what broke them or dedicated one's life to dissecting it. Often both. Her roommate Piper bubbled about her boyfriend without prying into Sophia's avoidance of dates, parties, or relaxation. It suited Sophia, skimming surfaces without exposing her scarred underbelly. Video sessions with Dr. Harlan continued. "You are progressing," Dr. Harlan said. "Nightmares have lessened, appetite stabilized, and academics are stellar. So I am cured? Managing differs from curing." Sophia understood, distinguishing healing from adept concealment. "Let me share something," Dr. Harlan continued, screen sharing a video. An anonymous man speaking candidly about demolishing his family, manipulating his son, and violating his daughter's space. Sophia tensed. "Why show this? Tell me, can such individuals transform or remain irreparably flawed?" Sophia watched, the man's voice nagging at familiarity. He confessed without excuses, seeking no sympathy, merely warning others. "Uncertain," she replied. "Change is possible, but does it cause permanent harm?" The video's timbre unsettled her, reminiscent of her father. She avoided thoughts of him, wondering if he suffered, if he replayed her ballroom collapse. Ethan called that evening, voice steadier with maturity. "School? Fine. The graduate program is intense and rewarding." Pause. "Mia and I set a wedding date." Wonderful. Another hesitation. She suggests inviting him, for closure, to release his grip. The air chilled. "Why? Everyone merits second chances. Hating consumes me." Does it? Maybe. What if he arrives unchanged, manipulative, monstrous? We handle it. Or if altered, punishing a ghost? This dilemma haunted Sophia too. If transformation exists, do past sins demand eternal hatred or permit release without absolution? No answers, she told Ethan. Same here. Mia proposes family therapy, including him, once, to gauge. What does Mom say? Not asked yet. You first. Sophia pondered. 5 years without him, life constructed around absence. Did survival mandate permanence or courage to risk reopening wounds? If we proceed on our terms, no waltzing back. One manipulative word, eternal banishment. Agreed. What if genuine? We decide the implications. They wept, siblings fused by trauma and fragile hope in human metamorphosis. Post-call, Sophia scoured for more videos, binge-watching chronologically. The early ones are raw and anguished. Later, they are composed, yet honest. One mentioned his daughter, who was in college, studying psychology and converting pain to healing. Heart-stopping, she rewound. My daughter studies psychology, channeling suffering into aid. Voice recognition clicked. Her father. These confessions, warnings, and his evolution from destroyer anger should surge. Privacy invaded. Instead, curiosity bloomed. He exploited their tale sans consent. Yet, she felt no violation, only intrigue. This man differed from the ballroom figure, from her suite's intruder, from the 5-year hatred target. Broken by fallout, striving to be better. Performance or truth? Download it all, notated like coursework. Research, can monsters humanize or lose permanently? Ethan phoned Elena next, Sophia on speaker. Trio connected across miles by unspoken query. Reopen to him? Elena was silent for a long time. Then, I see Daniel, kind, stable, the antithesis of your father. Sometimes I ponder, this is love's proper form, deserved always. Good, Mom, Sophia said. Yet, I wonder about him. Suffering schooled? Still the same or 5 years remade. Shaky breath. Love is gone eternally, but it could coexist without the urge of destruction. Enough for one session? What if rehearts? Ethan asked. Immediate exit. No reprises. What if it changed? Decide meaning, if any. 3-week consensus. Therapy trial. Ethan arranges. 1 meeting. Dr. Philomena Crest, family trauma expert. Sophia emailed her father after years. Saw videos. All. Unsure of an act or a fundamental shift, but must ascertain. If changeable, hope for all, me included. Unsent yet. Needed eyes meeting, discerning authenticity or refined deceit. Studied manipulation, tells, predators feigning remorse. If the monster lingers, she would know. Psychology armed her. But if different, fundamentally, change is viable. I suggest that you cease fearing lovers as destroyers in wait, not hope, desperation cloaked, but all she possessed. Elena held the phone like an explosive. Marcus's voice aged, humbled, pleading for one chance with emotional casualties. Kitchen differed, new apartment brighter, east-facing dawn floods. Daniel selected with her and moved sans questioning past the purge. In the living room, he read feigned, ears attuned, ready support. Together for 2 years he knew Saga, and he never rushed. I merit none, Marcus said hollowly. No undeserved, even moments. Elena agreed, you do not. But if kids are willing, try. Show not, stops. Sounds manipulative. Then silent. Listen. One meeting, manipulation. Hint, excuse, minimization, forever done. No appeals. Understood? Yes. Elena rehearsed with a therapist. Condition 1. 5 more therapy years, aiding destroyed families via volunteer work. Face victims, bear pain, facilitate healing. Transformation is incomplete sans broader repair. Can do. 2. Rebuild kids at their own pace. No dad title automatic. Words earned. Talks gifts, decades perhaps, or never. Accept sans resentment. Voice thick. Yes. 3. Hardest. Never seek my forgiveness. No peace, closure. Live with deeds forever. Healing independent of my absolution. I exist not for your redemption. Long silence. Understood? Whisper. Yes. Why agree sans forgiveness? Chance proves sorrow real. Not for pardon, so no authenticity. Recall marriage sans every memory-tainted lie. Something twisted in Elena. No sympathy was wanted, but the voice held genuine regret. Distrusted yet, but heard. Appointment in 3 weeks. Dr. Philomena Crest. Punctual. No gifts, letters, yourself. Prepared for children's pent anguish. No defense, please take it. Will. If I walk out, unable to bear, done. Won't. Rich, name foreign now. Mean it. One error, eternal gone. No. Thank. Do not. Not for you. For them. See change real, advance, knowing chance given, risen, or failed. Not about you. No. Hung up, hands trembling. Daniel emerged. Okay? Uncertain. Maybe. Agreed. Sit with the destroyer. He embraced. Bravest known. Or foolish. Brave, facing when could flee. Courage. Elena felt no valor, terror. Seeing reopened scars barely healed? If unchanged, wounds gape. If altered, what then? Sophia arrived for dinner, a twice-weekly ritual, cooking together, a normalcy facade. Ethan joined a table-like war council, agreed conditions. Sophia revealed, found videos, watched all. What? Elena's heart raced. Why hide? Needed process. The laptop was out. The confessions were shown. The accountability was full. Watched collectively. Marcus aged, confessing mechanisms, striving for change sans excuses. Ethan wept. Real or performance? Unknown. Therapy reveals. Elena observed ex-husband, eyes deeper. Genuine or feigned profundity? I want to believe change is possible, Sophia said. Otherwise, therapy is pointless. If stuck at worst, hope is void. Heavy for one meeting, Daniel noted. No, but is. Sophia eyed her mother. Ready? No, but proceeding. 3 weeks blurred anxiety, second guesses. Elena dreamed of a party, but now exited head high, kids beside. Looked back, Marcus alone, comprehending loss. Woke, sensing possibility, not peace, but distant waiting. Appointment dawned. Elena dressed in casual armor. Sophia drove, collected Ethan, and suited. Ready? Number. Good. Neither eye. The office was modern, the waiting room sparse, save one man, head bowed, hands in prayer, clasped. Marcus. Rose uncertain. Hi, Ethan echoed tight. Sophia nodded. Elena felt a void where 25 years resided. Dr. Philomena appeared, with silver-streaked, perceptive eyes. Enter. Circle chairs, no barriers. Saturday, space oceanic. No purpose. Marcus, speak. Opened, closed mouth. Sorry. Insufficient. No, but true. Destroyed life's beauty. Hurt most loved deliberately, years of calculation and cruelty. Tears flowed, unwiped. Not seeking pardon, comprehension. I need to know. I see damage all over every scar. Life spent ensuring no replicates me. Silence suffocating. Sophia leaned, 5 years of pain erupting like a dam burst. 7 Shadows Reckoning. Sophia Edward was 21, having pieced herself together over 5 years into someone who could function, despite the fissures running through her core. Lately, however, dreams of her father invaded her sleep, stirring a terror that forgiveness might equate to another betrayal. The university campus sprawled lush and vibrant, students chattering about classes and romances. A world that still felt distant to Sophia, observed through a pane of glass. Majoring in psychology with a focus on family trauma seemed inevitable. One either became what broke them, or dedicated one's life to dissecting it. Often both. Her roommate Piper bubbled about her boyfriend without prying into Sophia's avoidance of dates, parties, or relaxation. It suited Sophia, skimming surfaces without exposing her scarred underbelly. Video sessions with Dr. Harlan continued. "You are progressing," Dr. Harlan said. "Nightmares have lessened, appetite stabilized, and academics are stellar." So I am cured? Managing differs from curing. Sophia understood, distinguishing healing from adept concealment. "Let me share something," Dr. Harlan continued, screen-sharing a video. An anonymous man speaking candidly about demolishing his family, manipulating his son, and violating his daughter's space. Sophia tensed. Why show this? Tell me, can such individuals transform or remain irreparably flawed? Sophia watched, the man's voice nagging at familiarity. He confessed without excuses, seeking no sympathy, merely warning others. "Uncertain," she replied. "Change is possible, but does it cause permanent harm?" The video's timbre unsettled her, reminiscent of her father. She avoided thoughts of him, wondering if he suffered, if he replayed her ballroom collapse. Ethan called that evening, voice steadier with maturity. "School? Fine. You? The graduate program is intense and rewarding." Pause. "Mia and I set a wedding date." "Wonderful." Another hesitation. She suggests inviting him for closure to release his grip. The air chilled. Why? Everyone merits second chances. Hating consumes me. Does it? Maybe. What if he arrives unchanged, manipulative, monstrous? We handle it. Or if altered, punishing a ghost? This dilemma haunted Sophia too. If transformation exists, do past sins demand eternal hatred or permanent release without absolution? No answers, she told Ethan. Same here. Mia proposes family therapy, including him, once, to gauge. What does mom say? Not asked yet. You first. Sophia pondered. 5 years without him, life constructed around absence. Did survival mandate permanence or courage to risk reopening wounds? If we proceed on our terms, no waltzing back, one manipulative word, eternal banishment. Agreed. What if genuine? We decide the implications. They wept. Siblings fused by trauma and fragile hope in human metamorphosis. Post-call, Sophia scoured for more videos, binge-watching chronologically. The early ones are raw and anguished. Later, they are composed yet honest. One mentioned his daughter, who was in college, studying psychology and converting pain to healing. Heart-stopping, she rewound. My daughter studies psychology, channeling suffering into aid. Voice recognition clicked. Her father. These confessions, warnings, and his evolution from destroyer. Anger should surge, privacy invaded. Instead, curiosity bloomed. He exploited their tale sans consent. Yet she felt no violation, only intrigue. This man differed from the ballroom figure, from her suite's intruder, from the 5-year hatred target. Broken by fallout, striving to be better. Performance or truth? Downloaded all, notated like coursework. Research. Can monsters humanize or lose permanently? Ethan phoned Elena next, Sophia on speaker. Trio connected across miles by unspoken query. Reopen to him? Elena was silent for a long time. Then, I see Daniel, kind, stable, the antithesis of your father. Sometimes I ponder, this is love's proper form, deserved always. Good, Mom, Sophia said, yet I wonder about him. Suffering schooled? Still the same, or 5 years remade. Shaky breath, love is gone eternally, but it could coexist without the urge of destruction. Enough for one session? What if re-hurts? Ethan asked. Immediate exit, no reprises. What if it changed? Decide meaning, if any. 3-week consensus, therapy trial, Ethan arranges. 1 meeting, Dr. Philomena Crest, family trauma expert. Sophia emailed her father after years, saw videos, all. Unsure of an act or a fundamental shift, but must ascertain. If changeable, hope for all, me included, unsent yet. Needed eyes meeting, discerning authenticity or refined deceit. Studied manipulation, tells, predators feigning remorse. If the monster lingers, she would know, psychology armed her. But if different, fundamentally, change is viable. I suggest that you cease fearing lovers as destroyers in wait, not hope, desperation cloaked. But all she possessed, Elena held the phone like an explosive, Marcus' voice aged, humbled, pleading for one chance with emotional casualties. Kitchen differed, new apartment brighter, east-facing dawn floods. Daniel selected with her and moved, sans questioning, past the purge. In the living room, he read feigned, ears attuned, ready support. Together for 2 years, he knew Saga, and he never rushed. I merit none, Marcus said hollowly. No undeserved even moments. Elena agreed, you do not. But if kids are willing, try. Show not. Stops. Sounds manipulative. Then silent. Listen. 1 meeting. Manipulation hint. Excuse. Minimization. Forever done. No appeals. Understood? Yes. Elena rehearsed with a therapist. Condition 1. 5 more therapy years. Aiding destroyed families via volunteer work. Face victims. Bear pain. Facilitate healing. Transformation is incomplete sans broader repair. Can do. 2. Rebuild kids at their own pace. No dad title automatic. Words earned. Talks gifts. Decades perhaps, or never. Accept sans resentment. Voice thick. Yes. 3. Hardest. Never seek my forgiveness. No peace, closure. Live with deeds forever. Healing independent of my absolution. I exist not for your redemption. Long silence. Understood? Whisper. Yes. Why agree sans forgiveness? Chance proves sorrow real. Not for pardon, so no authenticity. Recall marriage sans every memory tainted lie. Something twisted in Elena. No sympathy was wanted, but the voice held genuine regret. Distrusted yet, but heard. Appointment in 3 weeks. Dr. Philomena Crest. Punctual. No gifts, letters. Yourself. Prepared for children's pent anguish. No defense. Please take it. Will. If I walk out, unable to bear. Done. Won't. Rich. Name foreign now. Mean it. 1 error. Eternal gone. No. Thank. Do not. Not for you. For them. See change real. Advance. Knowing chance given. Risen or failed. Not about you. No. Hung up. Hands trembling. Daniel emerged. Okay? Uncertain. Maybe. Agreed. Sit with the destroyer. He embraced, bravest known. Or foolish, brave, facing when could flee. Courage. Elena felt no valor, terror. Seeing reopened scars barely healed. If unchanged, wounds gape. If altered, what then? Sophia arrived for dinner, a twice-weekly ritual, cooking together, a normalcy facade. Ethan joined a table-like war council. Agreed conditions, Sophia revealed. Found videos, watched all. What? Elena's heart raced. Why hide? Needed process. The laptop was out. The confessions were shown. The accountability was full. Watched collectively. Marcus aged, confessing mechanisms, striving for change sans excuses. Ethan wept. Real or performance? Unknown. Therapy reveals. Elena observed ex-husband, eyes deeper. Genuine or feigned profundity? I want to believe change is possible, Sophia said. Otherwise, therapy is pointless. If stuck at worst, hope is void. Heavy for 1 meeting, Daniel noted. No, but is. Sophia eyed her mother. Ready? No, but proceeding. 3 weeks, blurred anxiety, second guesses. Elena dreamed of a party. but now exited head high, kids beside. Looked back, Marcus alone, comprehending loss, woke sensing possibility, not peace, but distant waiting. Appointment dawned, Elena dressed in casual armor. Sophia drove, collected Ethan, and suited. Ready? Number. Good. Neither I. The office was modern, the waiting room sparse, save one man, head bowed, hands in prayer, clasped. Marcus. Rose uncertain, high. Ethan echoed tight. Sophia nodded. Elena felt a void where 25 years resided. Dr. Philomena appeared, with silver-streaked, perceptive eyes. Enter. Circle chairs, no barriers. Saturday, space oceanic. No purpose. Marcus, speak. Opened, closed mouth. Sorry, insufficient. No, but true. Destroyed life's beauty, hurt most loved deliberately, years of calculation and cruelty. Tears flowed unwiped, not seeking pardon, comprehension. I need to know, I see damage all over every scar. Life spent ensuring no replicates me. Silence suffocating. Sophia leaned, 5 years of pain erupting like a dam burst. Elena's call to Marcus echoed with the weight of 5 years of unspoken fury. His voice on the line older and stripped of its former arrogance, now pleading for a single opportunity to face the ruins he had created. The kitchen in her new apartment felt like a sanctuary of light, smaller but filled with morning sun that poured through east-facing windows, chasing away the shadows of the past. Daniel had helped choose this place, understanding without words why she needed to shed every remnant of her old life. He sat nearby in the living room, book in hand but attention tuned to her, ready to offer steady support if the conversation cracked her resolve. The apartment gleamed with fresh starts, walls painted in soft hues that evoked calm, a far cry from the opulent penthouse now sold and forgotten. Elena gripped the phone tightly, her hand steady despite the storm within. Marcus said, "I do not deserve this," his tone hollowed by time. "I know I have no right to even a moment of your time." "You are correct," Elena replied. "You do not. But if the children are open to it, if I can bear it, I want to see if you have become something else. I want to show you I am not," he trailed off. "I do not know how to say this without it sounding like manipulation." "Then say nothing," Elena cut in. "Just listen." She heard his breath catch, a small sign of the man who once commanded boardrooms, now reduced. "Okay, you get one meeting, only one. It ends forever if you utter even a hint of manipulation, offer any excuse, or downplay what you did. No second chances, no pleas, do you understand?" Yes. She had rehearsed these conditions with her therapist, words forged into armor. Now she delivered them with precision. "There are 3 conditions. Meet them all, or this never happens. You may regret agreeing once you hear them." Silence, stretched. "Then tell me." "Condition 1, Elena began. "You continue therapy for another 5 years, but not just any sessions. Specialized work with families you have indirectly helped destroy through your volunteering. Face your victims' echoes, carry their stories, aid in their rebuilding. Your change is not complete until you repair damage beyond our circle." "I can do that." Condition 2. Rebuild with Sophia and Ethan on their timeline alone. You do not get to call yourself dad because years have passed. Every conversation is a privilege they grant. It could take decades. It might never happen. Accept that without pressure or bitterness. His voice thickened with emotion. "Yes." Condition 3 is the one that tests if you truly grasp the permanence. You never ask for my forgiveness. You get no release, no clean slate. You carry the guilt of what you did until your last breath. Your growth does not hinge on my words absolving you. I am not here to hand you peace." Long pause, his breathing audible as he processed. She meant it, eternal weight, no escape through her mercy. "Understood," he whispered finally. "And I agree to all." "Why?" Elena pressed. "What do you gain if not forgiveness?" Quiet lingered. Then, softly, "The opportunity to prove my regret is real. Not so you forgive, but so you know the sorrow exists. One day, you can look back on your years and see some truths amid the lies." Elena's chest tightened. She refused sympathy, but his words held a rawness absent from his old charm. Still, trust remained shattered. "The appointment is in 3 weeks, she said. "Dr. Philomena Crest, family trauma specialist. Be on time." Bring nothing, no tokens or notes. Just show up as you are. And brace yourself. The children will unleash everything they have held back. You sit and absorb it. No defenses. I will. If you cannot handle the truth of your actions, if you leave, that is the end. But I will not go. Marcus, she said, the name feeling distant on her tongue. I am serious. One misstep and you vanish from our lives permanently. I know. Thank you, Elena, for even this. Do not thank me. This is not for you. They must test if change is possible, and move forward knowing they offered one shot, and you either met it or failed. This centers on them, not you. I understand. She ended the call, her hands shaking as she set the phone down. Daniel appeared in the doorway, his face etched with concern. You okay? I do not know. Maybe. I just committed to sharing a room with the man who dismantled me. He wrapped her in his arms. You are the bravest person I know. Or the most foolish, fearless, he insisted, because you choose to confront when walking away would be easier. That takes strength, but Elena felt terror, not strength. What if his presence reopened wounds she had labored to seal? What if he remained the same predator? Was this all a ploy to inflict more harm? Sophia arrived that evening for their routine dinner, helping chop vegetables in a bid for normalcy. Ethan joined soon after, and the three sat around the table like strategists plotting a campaign. He accepted the conditions Elena shared. Sophia and Ethan exchanged glances. I discovered his videos, Sophia said. All of them. What? Elena's pulse quickened. Why keep that from me? I needed time to absorb it first. She opened her laptop, playing the confessions where Marcus laid bare his crimes, warned others, and took full blame without seeking pity. They viewed together video after video showing his evolution, work at shelters, and raw admissions. Ethan wiped tears. Is it authentic or just an act for the camera? I cannot tell, Sophia admitted. That is what the session will reveal. Elena studied the screen, noting how time had aged him. Lines deep, eyes carrying a burden absent before. But was it genuine remorse or learned performance? I want to believe people can evolve, Sophia said softly. Because if not, what is the point of therapy, of trying? If we are locked in our darkest selves, no light exists for anyone. That places immense pressure on one meeting, Daniel observed from the side. I know, but that is the reality, Sophia replied. She turned to Elena. Are you prepared for this? No, Elena admitted, but I am doing it regardless. The following 3 weeks dissolved in a haze of doubt and preparation. Elena dreamed of the anniversary again, the glass shattering, but this time she strode out with dignity, children at her side. Waking, she felt no resolution, but the faint outline of possibility on the horizon. The day arrived. Elena chose her outfit carefully, balancing between strength and approachability. Sophia picked her up, then Ethan from his place, his suit a shield of formality. Ready? Sophia asked. No, they chorused. Good, me neither. The drive to Dr. Philomena's office was silent, the building sleek with glass facades that promised safety but felt impersonal. The waiting area held only Marcus, head lowered, hands folded as if in supplication. He stood hesitantly as they entered, then froze, unsure of protocol. Hi, he said, no endearments or assumptions. Hi, Ethan replied, voice strained. Sophia merely nodded, words stuck. Elena regarded him, feeling an emptiness where love and hate once warred, just a blank space marking lost years. Dr. Philomena emerged, her presence commanding with silver-streaked hair and eyes that pierced illusions. Come in, all of you. The room had arranged chairs in a circle, no desks or couches to hide behind, forcing vulnerability. They sat, the distance between them vast as an abyss. You all understand why we are here, Dr. Philomena said. Marcus, the floor is yours. Speak what needs saying. He hesitated, then began. I am sorry. That is not enough. I know it is not, but it is true. I destroyed everything beautiful in my life. I hurt the people I loved most in the world. And I did it on purpose over the years with calculation and cruelty. Tears tracked down his face, but he let them fall, exposing the rawness. I am not asking for forgiveness. I am not asking you to understand. I need you to know I see what I did, all of it, every piece of damage, and I am trying to ensure no one else becomes what I was." The silence pressed heavily, thick with anticipation. Then Sophia leaned forward, and the dam of 5 years of pain burst forth in a torrent. The therapy room carried a faint lavender scent overlaid with the weight of old sorrows, and when Sophia finally spoke, her voice sliced through the quiet like glass through flesh. "I tried to die because of you." The words lingered, heavy and accusatory. Marcus's face crumpled, but she pressed on, unleashing 5 years of torment in a rush that refused containment. "I am 21 and terrified of touch, because closeness summons you and her into my bed, my supposed safe space. Do you grasp what you stole?" Her tone escalated, quivering with rage and grief. "You did not just betray Mom, you invaded my haven and made it a nightmare nest. I scrubbed that floor until my hands bled, and the images persist." Marcus wept openly, but uttered nothing, merely bearing witness to her anguish as agreed. "I attend therapy twice weekly and medicate to sleep without screams. Relationships evade me because trust shatters at love declarations. You taught that affection masks predators intent on destruction." Sophia's body trembled. "I ingested a whole bottle of pills, Dad. Aware? I sought non-existence because head visions refused cessation, and living with them seemed impossible. That is your legacy. You drove your daughter to crave death." She sobbed, gasping for air amid phrases. Elena reached for her hand, but Sophia withdrew. He needed to complete this so he could absorb every shard. "I study psychology now, dissecting trauma, brain betrayal, and processing. Learned your act was violence, not physical, but equally ruinous. You breached my boundaries, trust, and safety foundation. And worst, voice-dropping, absolute worst. I adored you, idolized you as the world's finest man, and you permitted that belief while dismantling all." Dr. Philomena interjected gently. "Sophia, pause for now. Allow your brother room." Ethan had sat silent, pallid, breaths shallow. His words emerged so faintly they strained to hear. "You forced me to betray Mom, 5 simple terms, devastatingly potent. I was 19, still your son, believing your goodness. You morphed me into your partner in crime." Ethan's voice fractured. "You compelled secrecy, claimed it shielded Mom, made lying seem loving." He met Marcus's gaze directly for the first time. "I contemplated suicide often, Dad, because mirrors reflect you, your features, and self-loathing surges. I despise bearing your genes, detest resemblances," comments. "Resembling you means resembling our family's demolisher." Marcus emitted a half-sob, half-groan, but Ethan proceeded. "I initiated brawls. Aware? The court is involved in uncontrolled fury. Witnessing men mistreat women evoked you, urging their obliteration like ours." He rose abruptly, pacing, unable to contain such agony seated. "I married a kind, patient woman who loves my chaos. Daily terror grips me. I will morph into you, harm her as you did Mom. Your disease lurks within, awakening to render me monstrous." Marcus collapsed to his knees from the chair, face buried in his hands. "Number. God, number. Ethan, hear me." "Not finished," Ethan's shout echoed. "You forfeit comforting, forfeit mending," Dr. Philomena mediated. "Marcus, permit completion. You consented." Marcus nodded, kneeling, frame convulsing with restrained sobs. Ethan's tone calmed eerily. "I serve at domestic violence shelters, community mandate initially, but persisted in comprehending your deeds and sitting amid women enduring men like you. Learned. I am unlike you. Manipulation does not make a manipulator. I was a victim too, not a mere accomplice. But after 5 years of therapy, survivor interactions are needed for insight. 5 life years reclaiming from your infliction." Silence descended, pressing eardrums. Elena, yet unspoken, observes Marcus's responses and assesses the authenticity of remorse or a facade. Manipulation studied, tells learned. Saw no act, only raw devastation. but regret insufficient. Sorrow, not metamorphosis. "My turn," she stated quietly. All eyes turned to her, a pillar amid collapse. "One question, Rich. Truth is absolute, even self-destructive." He lifted his gaze from the floor, ravaged. Anything. Did any mean something? Voice steady despite internal quake, wedding tears in vows. Labor with Ethan. Handheld for 18 hours. Father's death. Night-long hold. Necklace gift. To my eternal flame. Pause, mustering for haunting query. Real any? Or marriage performance awaiting upgrade? Marcus paused eternally, she thought, unresponsive. Then, real, every instant. Loved you beyond knowing how, more than any. You are, the finest known. Brilliant, compassionate, patient with the mother's illness. Patient with me, is impossible with all. Wiped face, trembling hands. But self-love prevailed, that illness. Loved genuinely, yet chose harm because ego, desires, and wants outweighed your welfare. Makes terrible. Love existed, insufficient to halt selfishness. Elena processed. Worse than loveless, meaning affection fails to prevent. Can love and still annihilate? Loving man existed, Marcus continued. Buried under entitlement, ego suffocating him, you, us. I choked it. You deserved a superior. Yes, Elena concurred plainly. I did. More quiet, Dr. Philomena allowed absorption. Marcus spoke. May I add, not defense. Truth. Dr. Philomena assented. Sophia, correct. My act of violence was a psychological assault, unfixable. But here, resembling me not being me. Ethan, the mirror is not a sickness carrier. You, good man, were wounded by bad. That's all. Ethan broke, sobbing fully. Marcus, kneeling, continued. 5 years of becoming different, not reclaiming you. Impossible. So, the world -1 like me. Shelter work, young father counseling, school talks, videos cautioning my replica, not redemption, sole good possible. Gazed at each, no forgiveness plea, no forget request. Ask coexist occasionally. Years hence, dinners not family, not foes, shared history folk. Sophia and Ethan eyed Elena, her call. Never love again. Marcus nodded. No. Never trust, never recapture the past. No. But for children, attempt shared space. Co-parents respecting existence. Nothing further. Face fractured relief, gratitude sliver. More than deserved, thank you. Life is proving worthy this. Sophia wiped her face. Monthly dinner, therapist present initially. Manipulative hint, done. Understood, Ethan nodded. And wedding attendance. Back row, no aisle walk, mom's roll. No toast. Witness, I found love despite your lessons. Present as needed. Dr. Philomena spoke. Solid effort, challenging but fruitful. Return next month. Process, plan. Rose, motion, awkward. Elena gathered her belongings, children flanking. Marcus remained kneeling till the door. Voice halted. Love you all, always did. Learning shows now. Finally. Elena turned last. Love not feeling Marcus, action, recall, I will. Exited united, not restored family, broken souls choosing mending over malice. Lot, trio embraced, world flowing round. Right thing? Sophia queried. Unknown, Elena conceded, but brave, today's enough. Daniel awaited home, pulling Elena close wordlessly, shook in arms. Feel? Empty, complete, fractured, whole. Everything, normal, survived. Matters. Night, Elena dreamed of a party anew. Glass broke, but she departed dignified, children beside. Glanced back, Marcus isolated, lost dawning. Woke, sensing not peace but potential distant, awaiting. Cultural wisdom from Nigerian roots surfaced. Proverbs like rain carves stone patient. Change gradually, scars linger, but life persists. Therapy loomed, test true. If it fails, the boundaries are iron. If passed, take cautious steps. Not absolution, acknowledgement. Enough begins. The first dinner unfolded 6 weeks later in a neutral restaurant. quiet corners shielding them from prying eyes. Sophia arrived with Dr. Harlan for oversight, Ethan with Mia, clasping his hand beneath the table. Elena came solo, needing no buffer beyond her resolve. Marcus waited in the booth, posture tense, dressed to avoid any hint of overreach. He rose briefly as they approached, but sat quickly, offering no embraces. "Thank you for coming," he said, voice measured. The meal progressed awkwardly, silences punctuated by cautious exchanges. Sophia inquired about his work. He described shelter duties, counseling sessions, and school talks without embellishment or self-praise. Just the facts, no heroism claimed. Ethan shared graduate research on trauma dynamics. Marcus listened attentively, posing no questions that might stray into parenting territory. Midway, Sophia excused herself to the restroom, returning with reddened eyes but composed hands. "This is tougher than expected," she admitted. "We can end it," Elena offered. "No, I must push through." She turned to Marcus. "Explain Mom's necklace, the one from that morning. Eternal flame, did you intend it?" He paled. "Yes," meant every word, but I failed to comprehend forever's demands. The daily choice over temptation. I faltered. Sophia nodded, absorbing. Needed confirmation that some fragments were genuine. "Love existed," he added. "I was too fractured to honor it." They ate quietly for a while. Ethan asked, "Still have Mom's heirloom recipe book from her grandmother?" Marcus looked pained. "Gave it to Clara for safekeeping. Thought you would want it preserved. May I reclaim it for Mia? She wishes to learn those dishes. I will deliver it this week." These minor requests about objects bridging past and present felt monumental, like tentative bridges over chasms. When the bill arrived, Marcus reached instinctively. Elena halted him. "We divide equally." "But equal. We are not family now, just individuals sharing a meal." He accepted, acknowledging the new boundaries. Outside, farewells hung tentative. Sophia surprised all, including herself, with a brief, rigid hug. "Next month," she said. Marcus lingered in the lot after, weeping beside his car at the touch, more grace than earned. Months passed, dinners gradually softened, edges blunting with repetition. Ethan's wedding neared. Marcus assisted peripherally with funding elements, without insertion into plans. The day dawned clear, him in the back pew as directed, witnessing vows exchanged with Mia, her kindness evident in every glance. As they pledged fidelity and partnership, Marcus wept silently, not self-pity, but joy at his son breaking the cycle, choosing authenticity over facade. The reception was festive. Sophia approached with photo booth strips, silly poses eliciting faint smiles. "Thank you for attending," she said. "Ethan needed this. Thank you for allowing." She studied him. "You are truly different, waiting for the slip, the old self to resurface. But that version is gone." "I hope so. He deserves burial." Elena observed from afar, Daniel's arm around her in her favored blue, a color Marcus once disliked. She laughed freely, happiness genuine, unshadowed. Before departing, Marcus neared her table. "You appear content." "I am." "Good. That was my wish, your happiness restored. Know this offers no closure. I carry the weight daily." "Aware. But learning hate and joy coexist. I manage both." "Fair." She met his eyes. "Changed. Does not erase. Does not reunite, but changed. Striving. Continue, for those you might wound if you halt." He nodded, left, driving to his sparse apartment. Alone, loneliness shifted, no longer yearning for the destroyed, accepting forfeiture. Years unfolded deliberately. Sophia completed her degree, launching a trauma-focused practice. I invited him to the opening and the back seating. He watched her address survivors on resilience, turning wounds to wisdom, pride swelling, forbidden yet present. Ethan and Mia welcomed a daughter, named after Elena's mother, evoking tears. Marcus met her at 3 months, holding her gingerly. "I vow no harm befalls you," he whispered. Elena remarried Daniel in an intimate ceremony. Marcus was uninvited, boundaries respected, but sent a card. "Congratulations, deserve all joy. Thank you for modeling true love." She retained it, no reply but kept. Dinners transitioned monthly to occasional, schedules permitting. It is not family, but something nameless, history-bound, choosing connection over severance. Marcus sustained efforts, and shelter became an identity extension, not atonement. Former abuser advocating, darkness guiding light for others. Sophia brought a teen client, a father-shattering family. Mirroring her pain one eve, Marcus sat with her. I am my family's villain, the cause of the suffering. Cannot mend mine, but here. His illness, not your legacy. Choose differently. What if I echo him, then re-choose daily? That is the labor. The girl departed less desolate. Sophia lingered. Effective, what you shared. Helped? Yes, from the damage the author names candidly. They sat comfortably silent. Not parent-child, but not aliens. Shared understanding is earned through consistency. I withhold forgiveness, Sophia stated abruptly. Your acts haunt still. Nightmares and intimacy struggles persist. Aware, but glad you transformed. Uses deeds to aid. Redeems not, but matters. All I seek matters somehow. She left Marcus in the standard room amid survivor portraits, pondering redemption. Not gifted, built via small, persistent acts. And not earned, pursued, knowing destination, elusive. Legal closure arrived mid-year. Elena's suit culminated, forgery confirmed, assets confiscated, probation enforced. Courtroom drama unfolded. Victoria testified to cycles, Lila's deceptions, Marcus unresisting. Justice merited. Cultural threads from Elena's Nigerian roots wove in. And proverbs like broken branches bear the sweetest fruit and guide dinners. Beatrice's will surfaced complicit notes urging Marcus's upgrade, adding betrayal layers. Therapy incorporated, family sessions occasional, processing growth. Decade dawned, Sophia counseled, Ethan parented vigilantly. Marcus advocated ceaselessly, and the temptation to revert was quashed. Final dinner sparked tension, an old pattern glimpsed in a casual remark. Boundaries reaffirmed swiftly. Elena with Daniel. Change authentic, scars perpetual, not pardon, vigilant optimism. Humanity's malleable heart amid unhealed fractures. Years had passed since the initial therapy session that tentatively bridged the chasm between destruction and fragile coexistence. Still, the legal machinery Elena had set in motion ground onward with inexorable force. The lawsuit, filed after discovering Marcus's forged signatures on the penthouse deed, now climaxed in a downtown courtroom bathed in harsh fluorescent light. Elena sat in the plaintiff's box, flanked by Sophia and Ethan, their faces a mix of resolve and lingering pain. Daniel squeezed her hand from the gallery, a silent anchor amid the storm of revisited betrayals. Across the aisle, Marcus appeared diminished, his once commanding presence reduced to a man in a plain suit, eyes downcast as the judge called the case to order. Elena's attorney, Octavia, opened the door precisely, laying out the evidence like a surgeon exposing infected tissue. She declared that we have irrefutable proof of forgery, projecting the documents onto a screen. Experts have analyzed the signatures, showing discrepancies in loop formation and slant, which are clear fraud indicators. This was no impulsive act, but a calculated scheme spanning years, designed to strip my client of her father's legacy, while she supported the defendant's lifestyle and cared for his ailing mother. The courtroom murmured, jurors leaning forward as Octavia introduced bank records, showing Marcus's siphoned funds and emails plotting the transfer. Victoria took the stand first, her voice steady despite the visible toll of past wounds. As his first wife, I endured the same pattern, she testified. He charmed me, married into my family's wealth, then forged documents to claim it all, before vanishing with a younger woman. I lost everything, my parents' inheritance, my home. It took years to rebuild, but the scars remain. Octavia prompted. And how does this relate to the current case? It is identical, Victoria replied. The forgery technique, the timing after securing trust, and even the excuses. He is a serial offender, preying on vulnerability. Lila followed, her testimony adding emotional depth to the financial crimes. She said I was his mistress, unaware of his living family, and my hands were trembling slightly. He fed me lies, copied love letters from Elena's past to woo me. I realized I was a tool in his deception when I discovered the truth. Octavia displayed the letters side by side with Elena's blog excerpts. See the verbatim phrasing? This manipulation extended to forging documents, making me unwittingly complicit in his plans. Lila glanced at Marcus, who met her gaze without deflection. I testify to expose how he operates so no one else falls victim. The prosecution's case was built layer by layer, incorporating digital forensics, showing Marcus's searches for forgery tutorials and emails to shady contacts about asset transfers. A financial expert quantified the damages. Millions in potential losses had the fraud succeeded, including the penthouse's value and accrued rents Marcus had never paid. Elena testified next, her voice clear and unflinching. I trusted him for 25 years and supported his business ventures while working double shifts as a surgeon. He repaid that with betrayal, not just emotional but financial, attempting to steal the home my father left me as protection against men like him. Cross-examination probed for weaknesses. Marcus's defense attorney suggesting marital disputes clouded judgment. But Elena remained composed. Disputes do not justify crime. Forgery is fact, not feeling. The jury nodded, her dignity evident. Ethan and Sophia provided impact statements, detailing how the fraud compounded their trauma. Discovering the plot made me question every memory, Ethan said. It was not just property theft, but of our sense of security. Sophia added, knowing he planned this while using my room for his affairs amplified the violation. It turned our home into a crime scene. Marcus declined to testify in his defense, which surprised the court. His attorney argued remorse and change, citing years of therapy and volunteering. But the judge, reviewing the evidence, ruled swiftly. The forgery is proven beyond doubt. Given the pattern of behavior, this court sentences the defendant to 5 years probation, full restitution of attempted gains, and seizure of assets tied to the fraud. Marcus stood impassive. Justice deserved, he said quietly as handcuffs clicked for processing, though probation spared immediate incarceration. Outside the courthouse, media swarmed, the viral anniversary video resurfacing with new headlines. Tycoon's empire crumbles in fraud verdict. Elena addressed them briefly. This closes a chapter, but healing continues. We seek no vengeance, only accountability. Sophia and Ethan stood beside her, united in quiet strength. Back home, Elena uncovered Beatrice's will during estate finalization, hidden letters revealing her complicity. In one, Beatrice urged Marcus, Elena has served her purpose, time for fresh energy. Secure the assets first. The revelation added bitter layers, confirming Beatrice's role not as a passive observer, but an active instigator. This discovery wove into family discussions, Elena's Nigerian roots providing solace through proverbs passed from her father. The broken pot mends stronger, she recited during a dinner, and the clay is reshaped with care. It guided their resilience, reminding them that fractures could reinforce rather than weaken. Sophia incorporated it into her practice, counseling clients on rebuilding after betrayal. The letters became evidence in the supplemental filing, ensuring Beatrice's estate contributed to restitution, closing loops of deceit. Marcus adapted to probation, reporting weekly, and community service extended at shelters. He viewed it not as punishment, but as an extension of his work, facing supervised groups where men like his former self confronted truths. In sessions, he shared the verdict's impact. Losing everything material mirrored the emotional loss I inflicted. It teaches humility, Solace noted in therapy. This forges more profound change, accountability externalized. Family dynamics evolved subtly. Dinners included probation updates, transparency, and building tentative trust. Ethan invited Marcus to meet his daughter more often and supervised playdates where he observed the grandfather's role without claiming it. Sophia shared professional milestones, like publishing a paper on familial trauma and sending an unsigned copy. Marcus read it, weeping at insights from her pain, and vowed to reference it in talks. Elena's life with Daniel flourished, and their marriage became a quiet haven. She advanced to head trauma surgeon, incorporating psychological elements into care, inspired by her journey. Cultural ties deepened, family trips to Nigeria reconnecting with roots. Proverbs like "the river bends but flows on," teaching adaptability. Beatrice's letters, though painful, prompted discussions of forgiveness. "Not for her," Elena said, "but releasing hate's hold for our peace." Marcus's videos incorporated the verdict, warning viewers. "Consequences come material and moral. Face them to grow." Views surged and comments mixed. Some were vitriolic and others appreciated honesty. A follower messaged, "Your story stopped my fraud plan. Thank you." Tiny redemptions accumulated. During the post-verdict, a year post-verdict, flared when Marcus referenced the past fondly. Boundaries, Elena reminded firmly. Focus forward. He apologized immediately, with no defense. Progress noted. Dinners continued. Sophia confided later, "The reckoning is balanced. Not erasure, but justice." Ethan's family grew, and another child was en route. Marcus attended births from afar, sending thoughtful gifts sans expectation. Legal scars faded, probation ending cleanly. Elena reflected with Daniel, "Change is real, though incomplete. We vigil, but live free." The reckoning not only seized assets, but reaffirmed resilience. Elena's heritage shone, proverbs like fire test gold guiding through. Family, redefined, wove fragile threads stronger, proving even the most profound betrayals yield to persistent mending. Marcus, empire shattered, found purpose in advocacy, life a quiet amends. Not perfect, but forward. A decade dawned with subtle shifts, the family having navigated the fragile threads of reconnection without illusions of perfect restoration. Sophia had blossomed into a renowned trauma specialist, her practice a beacon for those shattered by betrayal, drawing from her scars to guide others toward light. She married a gentle academic who understood her boundaries, their wedding a small affair where Marcus sat in the rear, a silent observer witnessing joy he had once nearly extinguished. Ethan thrived as a protective father, his home filled with laughter from 2 children, teaching them early about consent and honesty to break any lingering cycles. Mia stood by him, her patience a steady force. Marcus remained an advocate, his life a tapestry of service that extended beyond shelters into policy work, lobbying for stronger laws against financial abuse in marriages. Probation long ended, but he reported voluntarily to accountability groups, ensuring no backslide. Temptations arose, a fleeting thought of old habits during stressful times, but he rebuffed them swiftly, journaling triggers and discussing them in therapy. Solace, his long-term guide, noted, "Vigilance is your lifeline. Relapse lurks in complacency." He nodded, carrying the weight as promised, no pleas for relief. Dinners evolved into quarterly gatherings, schedules accommodating careers and families. One such evening, tension sparked when Marcus casually referenced a shared memory from their happier past, a vacation anecdote laced with unintended nostalgia. The room froze. "Boundaries," Elena stated firmly, her voice cutting sharply. "We focus on now, not romanticize what was built on lies." Marcus paled, apologizing immediately, without excuse. "I slipped. It will not happen again." Sophia eyed him warily. "That felt like testing the waters. If patterns return, we sever." "Understood," he replied. "No resentment, just acceptance." The clash prompted a family huddle post-dinner. Elena and Daniel reflected later. "Change seems solid, but vigilance is eternal. We monitor and protect our peace." Daniel agreed. "You have built this strength." Nigerian proverbs from her heritage resurfaced, like the watchful hen guards her chicks. It reminded me of constant awareness, not paranoia, but prudent care. Sophia incorporated similar wisdom in sessions, advising clients on post-betrayal navigation. Forgiveness optional, boundaries mandatory. Ethan confided in Marcus during a rare one-on-one walk in a children's park outing. "The verdict and years reshaped you, but scars we bear do not fade." Marcus nodded. "I know. Your happiness despite me is my greatest lesson. Ethan paused. Grandkids ask about you. We share truthfully, age appropriately. They decide to connect when they are older. Fair, Marcus said. Earn it daily. Elena's career peaked as hospital department head, integrating psych support in trauma care, her experiences informing protocols. She authored a book on resilience, anonymizing details but drawing from life. Royalties